Good morning. I wanted to make just a kind of general video about how I operate and making arguments on the internet. And my big thing is suppose we had a community of people. It's about 1,000 people. They're homosexuals. And they have various views about things. And I notice that certain views, they claim to have the view. Let's say going to a restaurant. They claim that they love this restaurant. They go to this restaurant all the time. But I've noticed that they never seem to go there. I've never seen any of them go there. I've never seen any of them talk about going there. They talked about the idea of going there, but never actually going there. They, there's like a long posting history going back decades, and I can go back and just look and see what people have been saying all this time about this restaurant. And they always, even in threads dedicated to going to the restaurant, everyone in the thread has never been to the restaurant. They just talk about it in like theoretical terms or what they would do instead of going to the restaurant. And it's like, maybe this community of homosexuals doesn't actually like this restaurant. So I get it in my head to throw this idea out there. And this is not trolling. This is why people think, oh, he's trolling. He's trying to upset people. That's not trolling. I have something that I noticed, and I'm trying to put the idea out there to see what happens. Because I want to see if people can defend this idea. Because that's the thing. It's a very easily tested claim. There's several ways to respond to it. For example, with a restaurant, the simplest possible response is just to say, I've been there and I liked it. I went there last week. It was great. So if I throw it out there and say, I don't think this restaurant is any good, and nobody gives even that most basic response of, oh, I've been there and I liked it, that's immediately like a big red flag. And there's other stuff that you would normally respond to when something like this comes out there. You would expect people to be saying, oh, they've been open for 50 years. They must be good. Or they have 5,000 reviews here. Look on my phone. They have 5 stars and they look like legitimate reviews from real people. Or here's a critic. He's famed for his accuracy in reviewing restaurants. We all love him. Or I know the chef. Literally, I know the chef. I've known him for 20 years. He's extremely experienced. He knows what he's doing. I promise you. These are all sorts of responses that you might expect to get from people who genuinely believed that this was a good restaurant. So when I throw it out there that this is not a good restaurant, and no one responds at any point with anything like any of these responses, it is so obvious. It is extremely obvious. And it's not just obvious to me, it's obvious to everyone watching the conversation. And then all the people watching the conversation are like, are these people morons? What the fuck? And it's actually worse than that, because people not only will they not make these claims most of the time, but every once in a while they'll actually lie and lie in an easily disproven way. Like, why wouldn't you put more effort into it if you were going to bother lying? Like, if you say, like, my brother went to the restaurant last week and he loved it. And then can just go ask your brother, and he's like, what the fuck? My brother's lying. I didn't go there. What? Why would you do that? Why would you tell that lie? And it's not just those kinds of lies either. There's also like the confabulation thing where you will say, oh, I went there last week. I went to the restaurant last week. It's like, when did you go? It's like, oh, I went on Tuesday night. And it's like, well, I was with you on Tuesday night and you were not there. It's like, well, I went on Monday night. It's like, I was also with you on Monday night and you were not there either. What the fuck are you doing? And then there's a really nasty category of people that actually gets extremely upset at that point and just starts like freaking the fuck out and like shitting all over the floor. And it's like, you'd better believe the lies I'm telling, or I won't, or I'm gonna fuck you up. It just like this weird confabulation thing. And I wonder sometimes if this, what is the point of all this? Like, why would you even bother to respond if you didn't have a good response? And I do wonder about, like, if you were interacting with a person in real life, online, you you do all this, and the other person is so disgusted with how awfully you responded that they just walk away like disgusted. They're like, that person's fucking stupid. I'm not interacting with them anymore. But online, you don't see that. All you see is they stop responding. You maybe you think, got him. I convinced that man that he was wrong. It's like that's not what happened. I don't understand. But maybe I don't know. I don't know if people really think that. Anyway, just a couple other pieces of information, like the whole thing. One of the other really obvious clues to me that people are deluding themselves is insecurity. If people are insecure, like there's certain tells when someone's insecure about a belief. Like you don't actually believe that. You're full of shit. Like you know, and you probably, and oftentimes it really feels like you know that you don't believe it, but you defend it anyway, and it's like what? And I keep saying you, and this is a general you of people who argue on the internet because none of these things that I've noticed all come from the same person, and some of them might be from other areas anyway. But yeah, I don't know.